Hello and welcome to another episode of PowerEdge SoundBytes. My name is Bertrand. I'm joined today with Namuka to talk about server automation. How do you build a fully autonomous compute infrastructure, and how do you reap the benefits of automating the lifecycle of servers? As we all know, managing servers can be a very time-consuming and error-prone endeavor, especially if you don't have the proper tool when you talk about 100, tens, thousands of servers. So today we're going to start with covering the life cycle of servers, and then how do we automate the process of managing servers. So Namuka, why don't you take us through the life cycle?
For sure. As you said, the server lifecycle process can be challenging without the right tools. And if you're doing things manually or with limited automation mechanisms in place, deploying and configuring a server can be complex. It can become repetitive. And as you said, it can become very error prone and laborious over time. So thankfully, nowadays, though, with the right setup, you can actually virtually achieve full automation. Although we're getting closer to total autonomy every day, with self-deployment, self-healing, and who knows, self-destruction one day. Exactly. However, today we're at the typical server lifecycle where it starts with deployment, getting it updated, monitoring for potential issues, and then maintaining that over time, and then finally retiring it or ideally reusing it. And a complete platform like PowerEdge should be able to help automate each of these key phases. And what's cool about PowerEdge is that, as we saw before, every server has a physically embedded remote controller called iTrack, which has its own processor, memory, and network access. So already you have reliable local and remote access point to the individual server. And then you can use that individual point to easily automate their control for collective management of many, so the tens and hundreds of thousands of servers that you were talking about.
Cool. Can you double click a little bit on the different lifecycle phases for us?
Definitely. So just to start off, I think the speed and ease of deployment and the process of getting the servers out of the box and everything configured is a big concern for many admins. And so the fact that you can use Open Manage Ansible modules for rapid provisioning and cut that down and cut out 33 steps, which decreases it by 75% less steps and less time. So it's a pretty big deal. So you can use, that just shows you what automation can do if you choose to use it. And it's pretty funny that we mentioned this because I'm talking to the person, you, Bertrand, who's currently writing a white paper on the subject, which will come out soon. So.
Indeed, absolutely, yes. How to use Ansible to do some automation with PowerEdge servers. One of the things that is important is that when we look at PowerEdge vision, really it is all about empowering the system administrator by providing them with simple and yet a powerful experience when it comes to automation. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, certainly. You definitely just touched on our ultimate goal. We want to empower the admins. And as you know, what's nice about PowerEdge is that there are always multiple ways to usually choose from. So you can use things like iTrack, RackAtom, Redfish APIs, OME REST APIs to automate provisioning, deployment, and updates with things like server templates and profiles. So beyond that, there are numerous options for enabling self-healing as well, which entails using predictive analytics to detect anomalies and recover, again, through iTrack. And this can be further enhanced by cloud-based analytics through Cloud IQ. So you can get data from multiple locations and improve operations on a global scale rather than just local. And then as a bonus, you can also enable self-optimization. So that means that you can make your system proactive as opposed to just tending to issues. You can use AI and ML to automatically configure and adapt your infrastructure based on policies and service level agreements in real time.
And that's pretty awesome because when I was a sysadmin, I was a firm believer that if I needed to do something twice, I would automate it because otherwise it's a waste of my time. So having multiple options to use to automate tasks when it comes to PowerEdge, I think is very powerful because as we all know, one size doesn't fit all, and each sysadmin will have preferences around what tool to use and how to go about automating. So I think it's awesome. Now, I know some admins that are not super keen on automation. So how can they leverage automation and still reap the benefits? How could they get there?
Definitely. And that's a really great point. It is not a one size fits all situation. You're right that not every admin wants to automate everything or leverage every tool possible for every lifecycle process. So it's nice that platforms like PowerEdge has a whole portfolio of tools so you can focus on automating different aspects that give you the most trouble. So the most repetitive tasks that take up the most of your time, so you can actually focus on the more complex ones. And we like to think of automation as a continuous process. And admins can choose if they want to have no automation or be level 5 automated. So this is an ongoing journey where you can start at 0 and then stop at 2 or keep going.
Cool. Can you give us a little bit more information on the different level of automation, and how do you move from one to the next? How do you go up level in terms of automation?
Yeah, I'm actually really glad you asked, because the journey can be similar to that of vehicle autonomy, which I think everybody's pretty familiar with. So for starters, you can imagine that even if there are fully autonomous vehicles available, people might still choose not to enable any automation features and drive their stick shift, right? I think we know a coworker, Kendall, who loves working on cars, and he loves stick shifts, and he probably wouldn't leverage any of the tools. But other people might take suggestions or even use autopilot once in a while. But generally they're hands-on. And similarly, admins use scripting tools and leverage those REST APIs that we talked about to help automate some things. But then other people might want to go hands-off next. So that means they can set basic policies in place, and then the system actually executes itself, like automatic brakes for your car. So after that, you might want to take your eyes off the road. So you can use outcome-based APIs that take into account more data for more advanced policies that can help adhere to a specific performance or usage measures. So if you want to reach a high level of automation and totally take your mind off the road, you can choose to go beyond this actually, and you can unlock those bonus self-optimizing features we spoke of before. So you can, by accounting for more environmental factors or ecosystem factors, and then you can finally put the steering wheel aside and provide service level agreements and the outcome you want to leverage, and the tools that you want to for all those automation work streams that we spoke of, including self-remediating and updating. So all of those would be available at your fingertips if you want to go full force.
And I know the whole idea of removing the steering wheel for most sysadmin is going to be terrifying, but what we need to think about, and the way we kind of need to think about it, is that is not where you start. You're never going to start in an environment where you're going to remove the steering wheel right off the bat. It is a journey, and you go from one step to the next, and you only move to the other step, to the next step, when you and your organization is ready. So by the time you actually get to removing the steering wheel, which is a terrifying idea, you're ready. And it doesn't seem like a terrifying idea because you've gone through that journey. You've gone through the various steps that came before, and you're comfortable with taking that next step. And that is really, that is critical. That is absolutely critical. And really, when we think about automation, it's all about saving sysadmin time so that they have more time to do value-added work back to the organization. So it is super critical, and also to reduce errors. As we know, when we repeat tasks multiple times, sometimes we fat finger things. So what else can you tell us, Namuka?
Sure. I think you brought up some great benefits of automation, and beyond reducing admin time spent on managing servers, one benefit that really helps is reacting to issues or threats faster and potentially in real time. So because of this, you can make your system much more secure and resilient to incidences like hackers or threats. And beyond the tangible benefits that this might bring, there are many intangible benefits, right, of automation that might be hard to measure. So responding to things faster and avoiding downtime can go a long way in helping with general business operational costs and your brand reputation in the long run. So there's a lot of other benefits that give into the why behind automation I think it's interesting to explore as well.
And I agree. And I think you're touching on a couple of very interesting points that we typically as sysadmin don't think about it, which is reputation and brand recognition, and also the expectation of users. I mean, when in this area of Netflix, Amazon, Instagram, I mean, everything is always on. I mean, we can wake up in the middle of the night and watch a movie on Amazon or on Netflix or swipe our Instagram. So we are expecting things to be on all the time, and those expectations are translated into the corporate environment as well. And so leveraging automation to provide users with that experience, that always on experience, is a critical part of any sysadmin job. And really that's the critical part of automation. So yeah, I think that's a very interesting topic that is evolving all the time. The number of tools at our disposal are constantly evolving. So thank you for joining us today to talk about the server automation and how you can help, and how the PowerEdge portfolio can help you increase the automation within your environment. And we'll see you soon for another episode of PowerEdge SoundBytes. Thank you very much.